Making the invisible visible, Black women 365 days of the year. Each day will spotlight a remarkable woman whose story has shaped Black, British or global diasporic history. Women whose achievements are too often overlooked. Through these daily short films, we create a living, breathing archive of leadership, creativity, resistance and legacy. Let's begin.
Okay, so my name is Sylvie Carlos. I am a creative, a storyteller. My dad always says that I'm inquisitive, basically nosy and up in people's business. My dad used to say anything when I was a kid. I used to say, why? And my dad used to say, Sylvie, why has a tail and two branches? You're always asking why. And I think at the heart of it, that's who I am. I'm somebody who likes to know things, someone who wants to discover, someone who's curious. And in practice, that bleeds into my career now. I'm a audio producer, creative producer. I do research. I'm also an academic, but it all ties down to storytelling and research and getting out people's stories because we all have stories to tell. So it's finding that. Basically, I'm a nosy person professionally. My day, one of the joys slash pains of the day is no day looks exactly the same. So currently I'm out in the US. I'm a Fulbright 2025 to 2026 recipient, which means that I'm out here doing research for a 9 month period. Effectively, I'm looking into how the US experience Black media, what Black storytelling looks like out here, because naturally we have our Black British population in the UK. We have a ton of issues with the media that I'm not even going to go into, but we also have a lot of joy, and I love that that's one of the upcoming questions. But so I want to know how the US do it because they do have some really good pockets of spaces where Black media, Black storytelling is completely exemplified. Sometimes that means that I'm on the bus or I'm just in a coffee shop or I'm immersed in the culture, writing notes. So in academia, we would call it ethnography, where you immerse yourself in somewhere. But I observe, I ask questions. Sometimes I have a little mic and I pick up the space that I'm in and I really figure out what's going on. And I love just being there, almost like a fly on the wall. So that's what I'm currently doing on a day to day now. And then also trying to wrap up my PhD because it needs to get finished. There is no set day, but it's joyous and chaotic. Okay, when I think about a shift, I think about I was doing an undergrad in I said act like I can't remember event management and public relations, and it had nothing to do with audio, nothing to do with radio, storytelling. For some reason, I decided that I was going to go and be a wedding planner, and like I was like, okay, we'll make that happen. But I fell in love with student radio, I believe in like 2013, 2014, and then I got made the head of that station, and I think seeing that actually radio could be a full career. And I remember always loving music. I've always grown up with music, but actually discovering through radio that it didn't just have to be music, that there was arts and there was features. So getting in that element, I think, is what shifted for me to see that actually this could be a career. And ironically, that's when I started my master's. I didn't fully know what it looked like, but even when I was doing all of my assignments, I was doing things on Afro hair and growing up Black and like storytelling. It always came back to Blackness. And it wasn't that it was like, oh, I'm trying to be an activist or I'm trying to put a song, but it was always like, these are my people. And there's so many stories and so many experiences to be told that I feel like a lot of the time they're missing if it's not related directly to music. So I went out and I did that. And I think that was the shift where I was like, this is a career. This is effectively my journey. Yeah. Maybe that I'm a nerd. I'm a really, really big bookworm nerd. I love reading. I love Marvel. Like there's certain little quirky things about me that I adore, and people are like, "Wow, I didn't have you down as that." So yeah, I sit and read. I spend the majority of my time reading, journaling, sitting on a park bench reading. I like the loudness. I like to be in the mix, but also I really, really need time to sit and immerse myself in a book and just avoid the world whilst I go into the book world. During my PhD, I'm looking into how the British audio industry, so like podcast and radio, how they create content for Black audiences. And we often, when I interview a lot of my participants, we often talk about what's not going right. And I think that as Black people in our Black communities, we have to push joy to the forefront, even if it's not a joyous moment. I think a lot of the time we can come together when moments are not great, but actually really making sure that you turn to your brother, turn to your sister, and you say, what's gone well? What are you happy about? So when I did my interviews, and it's something that I'm really trying to be very mindful about when I move forward as well, and all of the research and things that I do. Once someone's told me all the things that haven't gone well, and sometimes people have cried and like they've been very emotional, what keeps you here? What are the moments that pull you back? What are you proud of? Where are the joyful moments? And I'm trying to live by that. Like, where is the joy? What am I grateful for?
Thank you for joining us for today's story. Making the Invisible Visible is our commitment to ensuring that Black women's histories and contributions are recognised, valued and kept in daily circulation. Across 2026, we will continue to share these powerful narratives, 365 days of impact, brilliance and inspiration. Stay connected, join the conversation and help us champion the women whose journeys continue to shape our world. I'm Paulette Brooks and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for the next story.